the court has made. So to that extent, I will want to encourage the citizens, especially in Lagos State, if the government has deemed it fit, the government in Lagos has deemed it fit to go to court and say, look, we don't want to experience or see what happens during the MSAS protest again. We would be seeking the decision of the court or a ruling of the court to confine protesters to certain places and all that. And the court in its wisdom has deemed it fit to grant the orders for the prayer that the Lagos State government has asked for. Then I think as citizens of Lagos State, or those who reside in Lagos State, as much as possible, to try to abide by the decision of the court. I say this with times without number. Since they return to this civil rule, you will find out that the Lagos State House of Assembly and the Lagos State government have been the most proactive organs of government since they return to this civil rule, whether in the area of security, whether in the areas of making legislation in anticipation of development in the society and what have you. I think we should give that to them. If other states had followed suit and all that, I think we would have had significant improvement and would have a better society.
Mr. Kolawole, just a moment. My problem,
the of the court,
Mr. Kolawole,
is also a very strange one.
Just a moment. My problem is not on the pronouncement of the government. My problem is on the fact that there are different groups that want to protest. I'll call everything a protest this time. There are groups that said that they are going to protest from the 1st to the 10th. And these are not the people protesting against hunger. They want to protest against those people calling for an end to bad governance and hunger. They want to support the government. So if their protest is happening on the same dates, will these two groups be protesting in the same location, or one group will be allowed to protest anywhere they like in Lagos, while the people protesting against bad governance and hunger will only be restricted to these two locations? Because if these two groups are protesting in the same location, then there will be problem. And if these two groups are not protesting in the same location, and the other group is allowed to protest anywhere they like in Lagos, that would not be fair. So that is my problem.
Yes, and that's where I was going. I was trying to say that the orders of the court, or decision of the court, is a very, very strange one. Strange in the sense that our courts are always reluctant to give orders that are unenforceable, because it's going to be difficult to enforce the orders that the court is said to have given with regard to this protest. I give you an example. There are thousands of towns, villages all over Lagos State, for example. Are we saying that people have to leave those different villages to assemble and congregate in only the places that the court has approved, or giving orders that the protest should hold? The answer is no. Then when people are committing from different places to some of these places that the court has given an order, the protest could hold an order. It could be chaotic. It will be difficult to manage such a movement. When the people are going down, when they are returning, it's going to be difficult to manage the traffic to some of those places. It is to that extent that I think the court should have been wary of giving the kind of order it has given. But like I said, order is order. Once it comes from a court, the onus lies on citizens to make sure that they obey the order. But with that as it may, again, let me say this. The court may not likely frown at a situation in which people peacefully assemble in open grounds in front of their homes, in some of these public playgrounds like football pitches and what have you. Because under our law, under the Constitution, there is the freedom of assembly, the freedom of association, and the freedom to transmit information and to communicate and what have you. So the protesters are not breaching, may not be breaching any law if they assemble peacefully in some of these open places in line with the Constitution, which guarantees them the freedom of association, the freedom of movement, and the freedom to transmit information that is not ruinous or injurious to the society.
Okay. Well, for me, I would like to call on the NANS leadership to, we know what you are also going to do. You said you're going to march for peace. I think it should be after these people have done what they want to do, or before. You can do it today and create that awareness that we need to have peace. We still have more than 12 hours to do that. So NANS, clashing your work with the protesters, I'm not sure is a very good idea. We already are grappling with the realization that we have suddenly had the Oro Festival coming up at a time that nobody expected, and coinciding the same days, exact same days, with when the protest is happening, and that was not very good. The timing was really bad. I wish that the Oro people will move that to a later date, but who am I to talk to tradition and even understand what goes on there? But let's go to another issue. I would have loved to talk about this EFCC grilling NACON boss over 90 billion naira Hajj fund, but I think we've talked about this a lot of times, and to a lot of us it makes no sense that we are even sponsoring people to go on Hajj or Christian pilgrimage and all that when the country is bleeding dry. Now, we have this news also that empty ATMs as threat to CBN's cashless policy. I'd like you to comment on that as well.
Sorry, I didn't quite get that. What paper are you reviewing? Which paper?
Right now we are on the Guardian newspaper. Empty ATMs as threat to CBN's cashless policy.
Okay.
How tenable, how practicable is, how achievable is this our cashless policy that the CBN is preaching all the time, when you cannot even have access to withdrawing cash from the ATM, and even some ATMs that have cash on weekends, the ATMs go on weekend as well. You can't have cash from any ATM at all, or at least in the whole of Lagos, maybe you'll be talking about 4 or 5 ATMs that will be working at the weekend. It has become a norm. But you have POS operators having cash more than ATM. And then if you come to somewhere like the island, for every cash below 5,000 naira, you're paying 200 naira. So the charges are 200 naira and above. And you're wondering how this cashless policy is going to work. Sometimes you make a transaction and then they take from your money without even explaining why that money has been taken. I give you an instance. Someone sent some money for another person to help him buy something, and that was 3,000 naira. And then what appeared that he was showing me, what appeared was 2,600 naira. From 3,100 naira, it was 2,600 naira that he saw. He saw that the transaction was done, 3,001 was sent actually, but the balance on his this thing showed that it's only 2,600 naira that entered, and there was no explanation whether it was a tariff or something, it was VAT or anything. 500 naira just went away. So how are we going to achieve the cashless policy?
Yeah. It's really difficult. It's really difficult because when you start imposing all these levies and charges and all that, you are discouraging people from embracing the cashless policies. Well, these are some of the balancing act the government has been faced with. They want to raise the revenue, and one of the ways by which they raise the revenue is through all these levies, charges, and taxes and what have you. Again, too, they want to cut down on inflation. And so they start tightening up the monetary policies, what have you. And using different ways and means and all that to rein in inflation and what have you. I would have expected that some of these charges on those who use and what have you shouldn't be the direction and which the government should be looking at first to be able to raise revenue. Because, like you have rightly observed, we might be discouraging people from embracing the cashless policy when we start imposing all manners of levies and charges on them in these areas. There are other means and ways by which the government can raise revenue and also cut down on its own expenditure. And this as a direction I think the government should be looking at. Not all these petty couple levies and charges that makes life difficult for the ordinary man on the street. And when you also look at it, the cost of collecting those couple and all that at the government, whether at the state or the federal level or at the local government level, have impact on.
Let's go to the final newspaper, Nature News. Climate change will render West Africa unfit for living. That's according to U.S. scientists. What is your comment?
You're taking that from
Nature News.
Daily Trust?
Nature News.
Nature News. Okay. All right. Can you repeat your question again?
It's just an observation from the U.S. scientists. They are saying that climate change will render West Africa unfit for living. They are full of predictions for what will happen in Nigeria and Africa and all that. So climate change will affect us more than them, more or less. That's what they are saying. What is your comment?
Yeah, the truth of the matter is that some of the things that we are seeing now is a pointer to the effect that the climate change is real and it's affecting different parts of the world in different ways. Look at that story in front of the front page of Nature News, which says that flood displaces 2,000 people from Magis Farm in Sokoto. You will not remember at a time in this country, rain hardly falls in places like Sokoto. Sometimes it will fall maybe about 2-3 times in a year. That a special prayer had to be done for rain to fall in some of those, in Sokoto and some other parts of the north. But flooding has become a regular occurrence in all those places. Now, we tell you that this climate change that we are talking about is a reality, and it is something that we should prepare for as a nation. But ultimately, or as I would like to say, I haven't seen any serious effort being made on our part to really be able to confront the phenomenon of climate change that is tearing us able. All these are challenges that we as a people must be ready to confront.
All right.
How do we get alternative water supply for people in the FCC and then later to be able to drink water that is hygienic?
Okay.
Those are things that other countries like Egypt,
all right.
Those are things that other countries like Israel are confronting squarely, and they are winning. It's
all
something
right.
that we should also be preparing for Nigeria,
all right.
so that we will not be caught napping.
Okay. Well, this is where we will have to drop the ball. Thank you so much, Mr. Tunde Kolawole, for coming to review the papers with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
And please try and keep yourself safe.
I will. Thank
protest.
You. You too.
And then we also appeal to the Nigerian people to make the protest as peaceful as possible.
True.
Don't destroy your own property. It is your taxes, it is your money that they use to build those properties. And when you destroy them, it is you again that will pay for the replacement of those properties.
True.
So let us help government to secure our own properties in the different parts of the country.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, we've been talking to Mr. Tunde Kolawole, a legal practitioner here in Lagos. We were reviewing the papers. We'll take a break now, and when we return, we'll be looking at the fact that the federal government has suspended the import duties taxes on essential food items. Stay with us.
Welcome to Bayes University, Abuja, Nigeria, with a legacy of excellence and a vision for nurturing future leaders. Bayes University is in a league of its own. We're all about our people, processes, and technology.
Bayes is one of the highly rated universities in Nigeria in terms of product quality standards.
We don't just produce graduates, but groom people into employers of labor.
And it has made us understand that learning is all about three things. We learn, we unlearn, and we relearn.
Bayes University Hospital offers a range of specialized services equipped with the latest technology, manned by a team of trusted professionals. And now, our vision extends beyond our walls with the Baba Ahmed University in Kano following our lead. Join us at Bayes University and invest in your future today.
Bayes University is the institution that you will get the best value for money education in Nigeria.
Bayes University. Learn to live. Sometimes, it's not just the distance we travel. It's the gaps we close. It's not the things we buy. It's the memories we create. Sometimes it's beyond the places we go. It's the connections we make. Not just the things we taste. It's the taste of things to come. And it's never a question of if, but when. Because life is always just a bit better with American Express. Introducing the Access Bank American Express Gold Card and the Metal Platinum Card, now available through Access Bank.
An African girl somewhere is sitting at home, accompanied by dreams that seem so far away. Africa is one of the continents with the highest out-of-school percentage in education, and girls are at an early disadvantage. The sub-Saharan Africa records about 18 million out-of-school girls. This gender gap extends to the tech space with a projection of only a 33% global female workforce representation in tech firms for 2022. Let us help change the stories and numbers. Africa Agility's Project Train a Girl campaign is working to help train African girls in tech. You can donate as little as $2 or 2,000 Naira to help a girl in tech get her heels in the door. Visit www.africaagility.rallyup.com/PTAG to donate.
My name is Adejokela Sisi. I'm the founder and creative director of Planet 3R. At Planet 3R, we convert textile and plastic waste into eco-friendly products. The motivation actually came from a rural community in Ibadan here. Whenever it rains, the whole place, people will not be able to go inside the community. If it rains overnight, people will not be able to go to school, they will not be able to go to work. Anytime the water now goes away, you now realize a lot of waste spin. And I was like, this is actually the root cause of this problem, improper waste management system. Then I look at it that, what can we do to solve this?
Thanks for staying with us. It's still the breakfast on Plus TV Africa. In a bid to cushion the effect of the inflationary trend in Nigeria, the federal government, through the Nigeria Customs Service (NCS), has suspended import duties and taxes on some items to make them more affordable for Nigerians. That is what we're going to be discussing this morning with Dr. Law Mefo, a policy expert. Good morning and welcome to the program, Doctor.
Good morning, my brother. Good morning, Nigerians.
Okay, we've heard what the federal government is trying to do, suspending import duties and all that on essential food items. Is it time to shout Eureka that we've found the solution to our hunger problems? Let's start from there.
Yeah, well, it's a very important gesture, even though it is coming too late in the day. I recall, even on your platform, we made very passionate appeals to the federal government to do something about the essential essential commodities, particularly food items. Not all food items, staple food items like rice, wheat, all that, flour, And it fell on deaf ear until the threat of the end bad governance or end hunger strike started looming very large. Well, Nigeria has to import food. It's just as simple as that. Why? Because you do not have supplies coming from within. The food chain in Nigeria has been disrupted by insecurity. And that is why a tuber of yam is now going for as high as 10,000 naira. It's unimaginable. Somebody talked about, I can't remember the number of tubers of yam. The person said they bought for $1 million. Think about 100 tubers of yam going for 1 million naira. We should all be scared about this. And the government has argued that it's a necessary measure. The naira flotation and fuel subsidy removal. It's not true. That argument is not coming from sound economic principles. There is no way a growing economy such as Nigeria will have to remove the subsidy on energy, the energy mix, and float the naira at the same time. Let me state quickly here that what the country is suffering from now is not even so much because of the subsidy removal. No, the main problem is coming from naira flotation. Because floating the naira against the global currencies, dollar, euro, yuan, yen, pound, and all that, means that you want the naira to find its level against all these heavyweights. It's unrealistic. Why? Because you are not exporting, you are not earning much in foreign exchange. Your external reserves are so depleted, below 30 billion naira as we speak. The Chinese economy, for example, has reserves of about $1 trillion. So if you want to throw your naira out there to compete with the yuan of the Chinese, what exactly is your argument? Now, if you check the records of the Bureau of Statistics, you will see that the export, Nigerian export, is still up to 75% to crude oil. And that crude oil, we are not making the most of it. The OPEC quota given to Nigeria is about 1.8, 1.9 million barrels a day.